Welcome to Creative Tien channel. Today I'm going to show you how I make a pattern motif using lace and cable. I find that cable and lace can create interesting design and interesting texture. So this is just one of my playing around, and you can modify it to make it wider or longer or repeat it to fit your own project. I'm working on LK150 knitting machine again. To me, this is a very good machine for hand manipulation. I already started several rows, just plain stockinette stitch. I cast on multiple of 13 stitches. So I have 3 repeats, that's 36 stitches. And I mark the center of each motif with some washi tape. It's easier when you do the hand manipulation. So we will start by transferring stitches. We find the center and transfer the next stitch to the center. This is the center stitch. I will transfer the left stitch to the center stitch and the right stitch to the center stitch. So that creates 2 lace holes. And move all the stitches back to B position. So you will knit back. And the same with the other 2 repeats. The left stitch to the center and the right stitch to the center. And move all stitches back to working position. The same on the left side. Move it back to B position. My setting is for plain knitting and I need 2 rows. And you can see we just create 2 holes. Next we are going to find the lace stitch. That's the one with the hole. And we are going to create another hole next to that stitch. We are going to do it outward. So the next stitch, we will transfer the stitch into the center. You can also go outward. I just try to keep it consistent. If I move it to the center, I try to keep all stitches moved to the center. On the right side, it's the same. We find the lace stitch and we transfer the next stitch back to the lace stitch. And move all stitches back to the B position. Now we create 2 holes here. And the same on other repeats. We find the lace hole, the next stitch, and move it to the center. The next stitch, move to the next stitch. And we do the same on the left side. And move all needles back to B position. So we are creating a diamond pattern. All the lace stitch will create a diamond pattern. And we will repeat that lace stitch 5 times. So we already have 1 and 2. This is the second one. And we have 3 more to go. And after every lace stitch, we need 2 rows. And we just continue transferring stitches and create lace. Next one, we find the lace stitch, go up, and the next stitch. And then move inward. The same on the right side, the next stitch. Move inward. And all needles back to B. And then knit 2 rows. Now we have 3 rows of lace. We will continue repeating 2 more times. Transfer stitch, transfer toward the center, or stitch back to B. Now we have 5 rows of lace. I'm going to make a cable stitch in the center. I like to knit a 3x3 cable to make it bigger cable, or you can use 3x2 because we have 7 stitch here. If we use 3x3, it will be a little bit off center, but you don't really see it, so I will still go with the 3x3. Here I have the center stitch on the left first needle here, so I have the whole cable stitch a little bit toward the right, and I will just keep it consistent for every motif. And we just pull out, make the cable stitch, pull out, push in, and move the right needle, transfer the stitches, and the left to the right, and transfer all 3 stitches, and again move all the stitch back to the B position, so we will knit in the next row. And it's the same on the other motif. Make a cable crossing on the right side. All needles back to B, the working position. One more time on the left. And my habit is to move my right needle to the left first, so I just keep it consistent for each motif. But you can decide if you want to move the left first or the right first. If you keep it consistent, it doesn't really matter which side you cross first. Now we are going to knit 2 rows. That's the center of my diamond. Now I'm going to decrease, so it will be the next stitch that's closer to the center. I'll start from the center one because it's easier to see. This is a lace stitch, and I want to make another hole here, so that's the next stitch, and transfer to the center, toward the center. On the right side, this is the lace hole, so I'm going to transfer the next stitch, like 1 stitch over, and then move it to B, and we repeat that. This is the lace stitch, so I will be the 3rd stitch, and move it 1 stitch over. And on the right side, this is the last lace stitch, so I'll pick out the stitch next to it and move it toward the center. Same on the right side. And I will keep repeating that until we go back to the 2 lace holes near the center. So this is a lace stitch. I will pick up the next stitch and move toward the center. This is the next stitch. Go back to B position. You can see we are close to the center already. We only have 3 stitches in the middle. Now we'll repeat one more time. Now we only have 3 stitches in the middle, so we pick up the one on the left side next to the center stitch, move it to the center, and also the one on the right side next to the center stitch, move it to the center stitch. So we have 3 stitches here, and all the needle back to B, and same again here, move it to the center, okay. Now we will do the last 2 rows. Now we just complete the first pattern, and we can continue going up until the length you like. I'm using 13 stitches as repeat, so I leave 2 stitches in between. So you can decide how you want to modify it. And for the next repeat, it's the same. We start by finding the center stitch and move the one next to the center stitch to the center, left to the center and the right to the center, and move all the needles to B. So we create 2 lace holes. And we'll repeat that until you have 5 lace holes, 5 rows of lace, and then we'll do the cable crossing. And then we will move the lace holes toward the center until we back to the 2 lace holes next to each other. I just did the second layer, so that's the second diamond layer. And you can see this is a cable crossing, and we don't have cable crossing here. If you want, you can add a cable crossing between the first and the second diamond. So you do a cable crossing here and here. That's optional. When I'm done, I just need a few rows of plain stitch, and I'm going to do the sewing bind off. If you want to know more detail about cast on and bind off technique, I have video on different types of cast on and bind off. I will have the link in the description box below. I use a sewing bind off because I don't want it to become too tight in the bind off. So that's the final sample. I did the 3 repeats and 3 layers. And here is the center cable, and I didn't do the cable between the diamonds. You can add cables before you start the next diamond too, so it will be very textured. It should look better with a little bit steaming. This is before the steam. I hope you like this design. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.